Hello and welcome live on NetFront Sports. My name is Aiden Bolsgaard. Tristan Shaw is on your camera, and we are set for some Monday night action in the RMLL Senior B Division. It's the home side for Saskatchewan Rebels taking on the Edmonton Miners. The Rebels 4-5-0-0 on the season, good enough for third in the senior standings, and the Miners sitting at the top of the standings, 8-1-0-0. These teams have faced off 2 times already this season. The Miners taking both games and winning the goal differential 26-15 as of right now. Your starting goaltenders between the pipes for the Rebels, it's number 35, Kyle Schmidt. And on the other side for the Miners, it is number 35, Matt Hebert. So 2 number 35 goalies going at it here tonight. Off the face-off, we are underway. Ball going to be awarded to the Rebels off a face-off violation. George brings this one in, sends it along the right-hand side. Fouliard steps in with the quick shot there, and it's stopped right away by Hebert. Rebound picked up by St. Albert. Morgan's going to head this one up the floor as they get to work. Robertson gets the ball from him, settling in the offense now for the Miners. Going to send that one across. Going to work. Back across, Robertson. Shot from the point there, and that one goes wide of the net, and we're going to have our first penalty of the contest, and this one's going to be assessed to Carter Albrecht for the Rebels. So the 2-minute power play for the Miners upcoming. The first opportunity for either side in this contest comes only 33 seconds into the game. Royer steps this one in to kick off the man advantage for the Miners. Royer looking for a lane, lets that one go off the elbow. Schmidt, and the ball goes out wide. Recovered now by Edmonton. Back up to the point. Royer playing some pass here. Playstead has the lane, lets it go, and another stop by Schmidt. Rebound pops out, and the Miners try to recover, but this one going to get across half, so the over and back violation going to get charged against them. Rebels ball down in the Edmonton zone. 1:33 to go in the power play. Hanging on to it now. Gingras throws that one across and gets the pass back down low now for Beret as the Rebels hold this one along the outside, killing off the penalty time. 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Beret still holding on to it now, not being challenged too hard by John Lintz. Tried to drive the line, got cut down. Passes that one across, settled down by Blake, and he'll just throw it down the boards. The shot clock gets too low, and that's a good 30 seconds killed off for the Rebels as the Miners cross half once again and are back on the offensive side of the floor. Playstead drops this one up high. Royer sends that one across. Wengreniuk to the corner, gets the return feed. Back up high. Royer looking again, has the lane, lets it go, and he scores. Jack Royer opens up the scoring in this contest, and the Miners lead it 1-0, converting on the power play. Back to center we go. Nolski lining up for this one against Ronan Push. Ball being dug at now. One there by Nolski. George picks it up as it comes free, and all over him are the Miners. Ball pops out, and they'll recover it now down in their own end, and they're headed back down towards the offensive side of the floor. Running it in. Pass across now. Wengreniuk going to step inside, lets it go, and he scores. Snuck that one by the left pad of Kyle Schmidt. And Cam Wengreniuk gets his team up 2-0. So back to center we go. Nolski and Ronan Push once again. We're back underway. Push comes away with that ball. Going to run in 3-on-2 here on the fast break and whistle one high and wide over top of the net. Ball pops out loose. Nolski trying to get on top of it, but it's going to be the Miners who settle it down here once again. Turned over. fed ahead. The Rebels looking to move this one out. It's Carter McAdam on his weak side of the floor. Passes that to the middle. George lets it go, and that one's stopped by Matt Hebert. Rebound recovered by the Rebels. Fouliard pushes that one back up high for Zayden Blake. Blake across. Back to Fouliard in the middle, and that one gets free. Trying to recover the rebound now are both sides. Pops out loose and into the crease. That one's going to get picked up by Hebert. And dishes that one out along the right-hand side. Ganton throws it off to the left now as the Miners bring this one back into the zone. Justin Morgan holding on to it. Going to dish that off to the right-hand side. Harrow-Wires goes east-west with that pass as the Miners continue to move this one around the floor. Royer sends that one across. Harrow-Wires sends that one across the floor once again, trying to find his man, stolen away by the Rebels, who are going to look to head back up the floor now. Dished off, Murphy stepping in, and he scores! Matt Murphy gets the Rebels back within one on the fast break. And with 16:31 to go in the first, we have ourselves a lacrosse game. Being outshot 4-3 right now is Fort Saskatchewan. But are back within one as Nolsky and Push will return to the face-off dot. So lots of goals here in our first 3.5 minutes. See if it stays rolling or if this game settles in a little bit here. They continue to battle. Now the ball pops out free. Push. Pops down. And it's going to be the Miners who get on top of it now. Kennedy sends that one ahead and a goal. The Miners strike back with some pace. It's Kyle Playstead getting on the board now. 2-goal lead recovered for the Miners. 3-1 is your score. So back to center we go again. Nolsky and Push. Not a goaltender's game thus far. Push comes away with that one cleanly. 3-on-2 in yet again on the Rebels. Dished off to the inside. Sent across. Bowen going to let that one go. And a nice stop by Schmidt off his left shoulder. Bowen trying to get after the loose ball now. Pops out of his stick a couple times as this one remains loose. Now Push will get it and sends it just wide of the net. Off the boards, out of play. So ball going to be awarded to Fort Saskatchewan. Here's Basisti. We'll pick that one up and start to rush this up along the right-hand side. It's his weak side of the floor. He'll dish off quickly as this one's going to get away from Ryan Gingras. And the Miners have it back in their own end. Trying to get up the floor here. Good pressure from the Rebels, and it's going to be turned over to them. Blake picks it up as their offense gets back out on the floor now. Blake to Beret. Beret running this one in now. Has it at that left shooter spot as he's looking to drive the lane low. Sends that one across there. Trying to get Blake on the other side for the quick stick. Does not connect. And Justin Morgan going to head this one out once again for St. Albert. Trying to find his man in the middle there in Harrow-Wires, but does not connect. Rebels quickly trying to move this out once again. Riley Longmire gets this one across half. He'll ditch off to Fouliard as we hit 15 minutes to go in the first period. Fouliard finds Eric George coming off the bench. George from the point. Down to the left corner now. Beret cycling it back up high. Has the lane. Lets it go and he scores. Greg Beret gets himself on the board. And the Rebels claw back within one. Once again, your score 3-2. So 14:49 on the clock. Nolsky back to the middle for the Rebels. And Jacob Power across from him for this face-off. Nolsky able to win that draw and pulls it out to the left-hand side. Sending that one across. Trying to settle it down now is Caden Flett. He does and sends it off to Blake. Blake getting a lot of shifts here so far in this contest. From the outside, lets one rip, and that's one blocked. Off of the Miners, out of play, so awarded back to the Rebels. 12 seconds on the shot clock here, and that one sent just wide of the net by Fouliard. Off the glass once again. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Beret trying to bring this one to the inside, and his pass unable to connect with Blake. Fouliard trying to get the rebound and set that one, trying to get it on net in time. but it ends up just wide, kind of on the goal line there. It would have been cool if he was able to get it on net. Nonetheless, the Miners back out the other way. Playstead challenging, lets it go from the outside, and that one ends up just wide out of play. Awarded back to the Rebels here once again. Lintz will leave that one up high here for George. Rebels offense back to work. Fouliard. High once again, George. Finds Basisti, who's on the outside now. It's a low shot going. That one's stopped by Hebert. Nice job to keep the stick down that time as he'll feed it out and spring the Miners back out the other way into the offensive zone. Shot from the outside there that time. Gonna miss wide from Jack Royer. Recovered by the Miners again. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Bowen up high, looking for an option. Lets that one go, and it bounces off the floor and out of play. Ball back to the Rebels. 13:23 to go in the first. This has almost got to be our longest stretch without a goal since the Rebels got within one out of the stick of Greg Beret. As Albrecht brings this one in, lost his footing and drops down to the floor. Lost the ball in the process as well. So the Miners looking to head up once again. Ball misses Dilks that time. So back the other way for Saskatchewan. Flett settles this one down to the right corner now. Blake all the way back up high. Eric George on the left side. Beret gets the ball from him, who lets it go, and the bouncing shot inside hits the chest that time of Hebert. Not going to connect. And out the other way come the Miners. Power. Back up to the point now, Robertson. Gets it back on the inside and lets it go, and a great stop by Schmidt as that one got in tight between his legs. Good job by him to keep the stick down as well, and that one out of the net is Matt Murphy. Feeds this one up high as Fouliard starts to get this offense back to work. Finds Murphy again, who dishes off. Beret now at the point to the left corner. That one unable to connect with the stick of Ryan Gingras. Fouliard gets a rebound. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Fouliard across. Basisti from the outside now. Still looking for an option. Lets that one go, and it connects with Hebert. But he'll make the stop. And it looks like we have the illegal substitution penalty going to get charged against the Miners here. So Yo going to go to serve it for them. And your first 2-minute power play of the game upcoming. It's a 5-2 Project Services power play for the Rebels. George. Basisti. Beret. Touches getting had here to kick off the man advantage for Fort Saskatchewan. Basisti back in the middle trying to find his man there in Fouliard, picked off by the Miners goaltender as they look to force this back out. Dilks along the left-hand side. That one connects. Wingreniuk. Back up to the point now, Royer. 1:25 left on the Rebels power play. 7 seconds on the shot clock for the Miners. Is a nice behind-the-back shot there from Wingreniuk and stopped by Schmidt. So Fort Saskatchewan's power play going to get back out on the floor as Albrecht crosses half with the ball. George. Approaching 11 minutes to go here in the first. Fakes that one off. Or my apologies, actually did dish it out to Fouliard. They play a little bit of pass now. George back with it in his stick now. 5 seconds on the shot clock. George puts it behind the net, and that just didn't quite connect with Beret, so it's going to be the over and back violation charged against the Rebels. Miners ball down in the offensive zone. 53 seconds remaining on this Rebels power play. Robertson going to come off the bench to pick this one up. Has it along the outside now for the Miners. Challenged by Matthew Vetch, former captain of the Junior Rebels just last season, making the jump to senior this year. So that pass across not going to connect. Robertson gets a rebound. Bowen now at the point, out a shot, and that one stopped by Schmidt. Ball fed back out there by Hebert as it came all the way down the floor. Last off Schmidt, so that's why I know over and back against the Miners. 20 seconds left on this Rebels power play, and the shot clock now outweighs that, so the Miners can just sit on it here. Bowen along the outside. Push. My apologies. Robertson trying to make his way in, and that's going to be the high stick coming up against the Rebels, if not something worse here. Is this one still popping out loose? Picked back up by St. Albert. Reset of the shot clock. So now some 6-on-5 action as the Miners going to go back on the power play as the Rebels officially 0 for 1. When Greniak feeds that one across. Playstead back to him now. When Greniak up at the point. Dishes off. A quick stick chance, and that one right through the crease of Schmidt as it pops out loose. As Vetch trying to get on top of it, and he will. So with 9:33 to go in the first, the holding call going to be dished off to Tanner Tass. So neither of my predictions hold true. Nonetheless, we're going to head to our first TV timeout of this contest. 9:33 to go in the first. It's the Edmonton Miners that lead this contest 3-2 and are about to head to the power play. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Rival Sportswear, Canada's fast-growing custom apparel brand. Alberta owned and operated. Always custom, always affordable. Elevate your team with Rival Sportswear. As well, if you are a business owner in the Fort Saskatchewan area and looking to advertise your company, no better place to do it than here in the JRC. You can have your company logo, slogan displayed here on the board supporting Fort Saskatchewan Lacrosse. If you're interested, you can contact Rebels General Manager Dave McGarva. His information is available at the Rebels website. As well as shout out to the Rebels 2026 sponsors, Leading Edge Physiotherapy, Cyclone Environmental Service, 5-2 Project Services, Lakeview Inns and Suites, Jiffy Lube, Armor Self-Storage, Sinbin Sports, Mel Martin's Transfer Limited, Fort Sask Auto Body, First Call Heating, AC Plumbing, and a special thanks to the presenting sponsor, Noyen Construction. As to kick off this power play, the Miners wire a shot off the crossbar and all the way down the floor as they're going to head back to the offensive side now to get back to work. Jack Royer, left shooter spot, gets a return feed back up high as he sends that down to the crease. Fake low shot here. As another one on to Schmidt, and he's able to make the save and settle down the rebound. So out of the stick of Robertson. Schmidt better that time, and that's going to allow the Rebels to move this up the floor. Albrecht gets across half. Trying to take the low lane. Got a shot there, and it ends up wide and out of play. So turned over back to the Miners quickly here. 1:13 remaining on their man advantage. They are 1 for 1 in this contest here today. Brought back in now. Up high, Bowen. Dishes off. He finds Robertson. Royer, short passes here from the Miners. Royer down to the corner, sent back into the middle. A quick stick shot for Robertson, stopped by Kyle Schmidt. And he's going to stretch the floor now right up the middle and trying to settle it down right now is Hudson Shivers, who does come to the inside, steps in and takes out the goalie in the process. And we'll see if that gets some retaliation here from the Miners. That's about as hard you can drive the net. Is right there. Nonetheless, Shivers up, goaltender up, which is what we like to see. And we're just going to get a quick wipe of the floor and a reset of the net before we get back to play here. 8:10 remaining in the first period, 38 seconds left on the Miners power play. They lead this contest 3-2. They as well are out shooting the Rebels 12-7. As the net's back in place, the floor has been wiped, so it looks like we're about ready to get back underway. Royer going to pick up the ball by his own net. 38 seconds to go on the Miners power play. He'll run this one up across half, dishes off. Playstead, back to Royer. Royer with it once again, playing some pass now with Wingraniuk. Sent across, and the outside shot from Harrow Ayers right into the chest of Kyle Schmidt. And Schmidt will try to send that one up along the right-hand side. Vetch trying to settle it down, and that's going to be the loose ball. Push charge against the Miners, rightfully so. So Vetch going to pick up the ball now for Fort Saskatchewan, and he'll start to run this one up across half, trying to kill off this last 5 seconds of the Miners power play. Vetch gets knocked down to the ground. Lost the ball. Morgan going to pick that one up now for Edmonton, and he'll send that across. Jackson Ganton will receive it from him and get back into the offensive side. The Miners now 1 for 2 on the power play in this one and only remain up by a single goal. Pass down to Playstead, does not connect. He had to go get the rebound. 13 seconds on the shot clock is a nice behind-the-back chance that time for Royer. Does not connect. The Rebels trying to head this one back up the floor. Albrecht dishes that one off. Nolsky going to cross with some space on his weak side of the floor. Go back up to the point now, Fouliard. Fouliard rolls that along. Finds Beret coming off the bench. 6:50 to go in your first period. Beret from the point now, looking, lets it go and wires that one off the post. Just inches away from tying this contest. Ball down the floor. Schmidt going to come out of his crease to play this one. Will dish off lightly to Blake. Blake runs this one across half. Down to the corner now, Fouliard is going to cycle back up high. He dishes off across. Gingras feels like he has a lane low. Does send it in the middle for George, and that one won't quite connect. Yo, all over this loose ball, and he'll get on top of it, has it behind his own net, and throws it up along the left-hand side. Power gets the pass from him and now feeds Push. Push on his weak side of the floor. Going to go for the change after leaving it for Robertson. 6 minutes to go in the first. Robertson with it. 14 seconds on the shot clock for the Miners. Pass sent across. Harrowires couldn't quite settle it down, and now this ball pops out loose down in the corner. Is trying to get on top of it is Jake Bowen. Shot clock expires, so forcefully turned over to the Rebels. Is Flett now trying to settle it down off the boards, but actually getting his own pass now is Ryan McBride. Feeds it ahead, Beret. Caught a couple bodies, but still able to get back out into space. 5.5 to go in the first. 15 seconds on the shot clock for the Rebels. Fouliard brings this one in from the point now, trying to run. Spins off, has a lane, lets it go, and it ends up off of Hebert, is what the referees say. Blake now with it as the Rebels recover the rebound. A fresh 30 on the clock. Blake's shot from the outside goes wide of the net. Basisti trying to set the pick there on Lintz. Didn't create enough space. Is this one going to be turned over by the Miners? Fouliard from the outside. And that one just barely stopped by Hebert as it got in between his legs, but somehow trapped it as he fell down to the ground. Nonetheless, the Miners remain up. Good opportunity for the Rebels. Down in the offensive zone, 20 seconds to work with now for Edmonton as Harrowires steps this one in along the right side. Dishes down when Greniuk. His pass across going to end up out of play. Turn back over to Fort Saskatchewan. Picked up. Nolsky. Finds Eric George. Beret going to get checked across half, and that's going to be the over and back violation charged against him. Forcefully so. Nonetheless, back to the Miners just like that. 4.5 to go in your opening frame. Royer receives this ball and brings it into that left shooter spot. Going to feed it across nicely into the middle wing. Greniuk stepping in and a great stop by Schmidt. Just got his left elbow on it, and the Rebels remain within one. Shivers across half. Dishes off. He's got Flett. Flett challenging now along the right wing half boards. Goes back up high for Shivers as the rest of the offense getting out there for Fort Saskatchewan. Eric George will get the pass from him. Quickly hits Fouliard. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Fouliard along the outside. Tries to spin down in the middle on Yo, and he scores. Marcus Fouliard is first of the contest. And just like that, we have a tie game, 3-3. And I think we're going to have some penalties coming up here from after the play. And referee signaling to the St. Albert bench. And it looks like the slashing call against John Lintz. So the second power play of the game upcoming here for Fort Saskatchewan. They're 0 for 1 thus far, and an opportunity to try to get their first lead of this contest as they just tied it 3-3 thanks to the goal from Marcus Fouliard. Nolsky and Ronan Push line up for the face-off here. Push comes away with it and is going to bring it down in the Rebel zone. On his weak side of the floor, he's challenged by Albrecht. Morgan gets the pass from him and sends that down the boards here once again. 3:44 in the frame, 1:45 in the Rebels power play. Miners another 11 seconds they can kill off here on this possession. Harrowires. Right wing half boards. Sent that one on net, and Schmidt able to make the save. I think that one might have caught him a little off guard. But a great shot there from the outside. Nonetheless, it's Miners' ball off the Rebels, so they can kill off even more time. Rebels haven't touched the ball yet on their power play. Brought to you by 5-2 Project Services. Only a minute 20 remaining. 15 on the shot clock for the Miners. Wengreniuk along the outside, not being challenged here by anyone. He can stand there with it. Now he'll dish off and finds Playstead. Tries to run his way around Albrecht. Playstead behind the net, looking for an option. Goes back up to the point, and they score. Short-handed, Playstead hits Robertson. And the Miners have grabbed their lead back 4-3 over Fort Saskatchewan. It's the short-handed goal. .259 remaining in the first period. The Rebels seemed like they were knocking on the door opportunity, but surrender one here to Edmonton. Rebels going to line up. Alex Wildeboer coming out for the draw now against Ronan Push. Push going to come away with it. Sends the floating pass off to the left-hand side now. Morgan works it across half. He finds Bowen. Bowen down along the right-hand side. Pressured here by Matthew Vetch. Vetch and Blake all over him. Rebels sending the double team. It's fed back up high when Greniuk going to settle it down for the Miners. 8 seconds here on the shot clock as they continue to just play around this Rebels man advantage. Only 35 seconds remaining. The Rebels haven't even had a possession of the ball. Now Schmidt going to make it the first on this man advantage. He feeds that one out to the left-hand side. Shivers throws it right back across the floor and hits Flett. Flett across half. Leaves that one for George. 15 seconds on the power play and shot clock for the Rebels. Basisti. Down low. Back up high. George into the middle. Fouliard, and he scores his second of the contest. So the Rebels tie it up once again and end up 1 for 2 on the power play as they score with 5 seconds remaining. .203 on the clock. We're going back 5-on-5 with a fresh lacrosse game once again. 4-4 is your score as Nolsky and Push line up for this faceoff. Push has had Nolsky's number thus far. And loose off the draw into the Miners bench. And we have a hurt Miner down on the floor here. Looks like Adam Yo, who will get to his feet quickly and head to the bench. So I don't believe anything coming of it here. It'll just be Miners' ball when we kick back into action here. And Harrowire's going to pick this one up high. Dishes off to the left side now. Royer back up high. Wengreniuk. Royer. Left-hand side, Playstead. Wengreniuk, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Spins it back out high. Royer from the outside, he scores. Jack Royer, his second goal of the contest. And the Miners back out in front here once again. 5-4 now the score. 1:36 on the clock. Push and Nolsky will do battle once again for the 10th time, or no, only 9th time, I believe, in this period. 8, actually. Both teams have thrown in a different one. Got to watch my math here. I can guarantee you the number is 8. Push. Trying to come away with it here. Ball pops out loose. Nobody has it still, and the Miners going to end up with possession as this one fed back out high. And the big outside shot, they score. Jacob Power reestablishes the 2-goal lead for Edmonton. Just like that, the Rebels come back for Null. as another wipe of the floor taking place here. It looks to be Bowen Carpenter on the bench tonight for the Rebels. Still a member of the Junior Rebels. Started their last game, which was a win over the Saskatchewan Splot. Out of the face-off, Push able to win that one here again. Jackson Ganton picks it up, throws it back into the zone. To work go the Miners. Bowen brings this one in along the left-hand side. From the point now, trying to make his way to the inside. Makes a couple dodges and doesn't get through. Sends that one across. Bowen stepping in. Lets that one go. And for the confusion, that was Jake Bowen with the shot. Rebels back in the offensive zone. 46 seconds on the clock here. 20 on the shot clock as Bray lets one go. And that one going to be stopped by Hebert, who will pick it back up. Hebert scanning the floor now. He'll send that one up. Bounces along the boards. Recovered by the Rebels. Wildeboer brings it across half. Dish off to Fouliard. 25 seconds on the clock. 23 on the shot clock. Basisti. Back up high, Beret. Beret to George. 10 seconds on the clock. Rebels going to send a six-man now. Coming off the bench, it's Gingras. George still with it at the point. Dishes off Fouliard across now. Gingras lets it go, and it ends up wide of the net. So after 20 minutes, it's the Miners that lead the Rebels 6-4 on the road. As well, out shooting Fort Saskatchewan 19-12. Your goal scorers in your opening frame: Marcus Fouliard, Matt Murphy, and Greg Beret. For the Rebels, on the other side, it's Jacob Power, Jack Royer, Kyle Playstead, Cameron Greniuk, and Wyatt Robertson for Edmonton. My name is Aiden Bolsgaard. Tristan Shaw is running your camera for you here tonight. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with some second period action on NetFront Sports. Hello and welcome back live on NetFront Sports. My name's Aiden Bolsgard. Tristan Shaw is on the camera, and you're tuned in for RMLL Senior B action on a Monday night here in Fort Saskatchewan, where it's Rebels taking on the Edmonton Miners. The Edmonton Miners, who are leading this contest 6-4 after the opening frame, and we're back underway. Push pulls that one free out of the draw, and he's going to run back into his own zone here and settle it down for Edmonton. Push. Jogs this one up the floor, gets across half in time. George going to go for a change for the Rebels. That brings Matt Murphy out there. So the Miners looking to open the scoring here in the second frame. Lots of goals in the first, a total of 10. Felt like we didn't go long without someone finding the back of the net, as we're going to have a penalty coming up here. High stick against the Rebels, undoubtedly, as a shot onto Schmidt stopped. Rebound behind the net, and that one's picked up by St. Albert, so they're going to go 6-on-5 with a fresh 30 on the shot clock. Up high with it now, Royer. Playing a little bit of pass here. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Royer from the outside sends it across on the quick shot from Bowen in the corner. Stopped by Schmidt. Settled back down by the Miners. Another fresh 30 on the shot clock here as they continue to extend out this power play time as another shot off the leg of Schmidt. Stopped. Rebound recovered once again. Royer back up high. He settles down his offense. 18:50 to go in the second period. 20 seconds on the shot clock. When Graniak, 1 goal in tonight's contest, going to dish that off to Royer. Gets the return feed quickly as here comes the movement now from the Miners. To the left shooter spot. Royer across on a quick shot. Finally out of play. That one off the shoulder of Schmidt. So the slashing call upcoming against the Rebels. That one I thought caught up high, but nonetheless, Carter Albrecht headed to the box for the second time in this contest. And the Miners to their third power play of the game. They are 1 for 2 thus far. Starting up high with it, Zach Harrowires. Play blown in, power play underway. Harrowires off to the right side gets the return feed. Miners going to work this one along the outside as it's back up to the point. Once again, the quick shot there. Going to be recovered by Flett. Is all over him right now is Edmonton, and quickly recovered by Harrowires. Still cycle it back up high and dish it off to the right side. Back to work the Miners. Jake Bowen gets the return feed from the corner. Back up to the point now behind the back pass. Quick on to Schmidt, and he's able to make the stop. Rebound pops out with Graniak. Knocked down to the ground, and he appears to be in some anguish. So we'll have a momentary pause in play. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the Miners' power play. It will be their ball, I believe, when we resume. As back to his feet now is Wen Graniak, so that's good to see for Edmonton as they remain leading by 2. Royer going to start with this ball up high. No penalty upcoming off that play. But it'll be Miners' ball with 27 seconds on the shot clock. Play blown back in. Royer with it right now up high. Dishes off. Robertson back to Royer. From the outside now, he finds Robertson again, who tries to go short side, and a nice right pad save that time by Schmidt. Back down in the left corner now. Playstead. Robertson. Royer. Outside shot, and that one off the end. Boards out of play, so ball rewarded to the Rebels. Play blown dead. It looks like maybe just picking something up off the floor nonetheless. Hudson Shivers going to have it for Fort Saskatchewan as he'll fake that one on the stretch to Beret, but will now feed it out to him as the Rebels trying to kill off some penalty time. A minute remaining on the Miners' power play. 17 and a half to go in your second period. Beret not really being challenged up high here by Aaron Duff. Now as he cuts the lane, going to get cut off and tried to send one on net. It ends up wide into the netting. It's a ball back to the Miners as they're going to head up the floor once again with 40 seconds to go on their man advantage. Power from the point. Sends that off to the right-hand side now. Harrowires. East-west pass to Royer. They're going to go back and forth a little bit. Royer going to settle it down. Back across. Harrowires from the outside. Tried to dodge into the middle there, and ball picked out of his stick. Flat looking head up to the floor now for Fort Saskatchewan. 18 seconds remaining on the penalty kill for them. Shot clock outweighs that time, so the Rebels can sit on it here until they go 5-on-5. Yo, off the bench, pressuring Basisti. Thrown down to the left corner now for Saskatchewan, trying to cycle it up high, and the shot gets let go. Rebound in front, and two big stops there from Hebert. Ball settled back down by Carter McAdam. The Rebels a fresh 30, and we're 5-on-5, so now only 1 for 3 on the power play are the Miners. Basisti, Fouliard, couldn't quite secure that pass. Pops out free, settled back down, and the outside shot off the left arm. That time of Matt Hebert. Rebound recovered by the Rebels again. Blake trying to take the low lane, and he scores! Zayden Blake gets the Rebels on the board here in the second period, and they are within 1. So shots now 26-15 in favor of the Miners, but the Rebels draw back within 1. They had this game momentarily tied in the first period, but the Miners able to take back over. Their biggest lead of the contest so far has only been 2. So Fort Saskatchewan hanging in there again, have not grabbed a win against Edmonton all season long. They're 0-2, and in those 2 games being outscored 26-15. Nolski unable to win that one as push throws it all the way back, and headed up the floor now is Edmonton. Dished off. Bowen going to settle it down, feeds it out to the left wing half boards. Royer trying to step up high to the point, has to go way out wide into some space. Now the offense set up. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Down to the left corner. Bowen gets it in the middle there, and that one going to bounce out of play on the wide shot. Picked back up by Flett, and he'll stretch it up the floor with some pace. Shivers settles it down, finds Greg Beret coming off the bench. 15.5 to go in your second period. Beret, that left shooter spot, going to cycle up to the point now. Dishes off Fouliard, trying to find a lane. Fouliard along the outside, sends it across. George lets it go and catches a piece of a defenseman's stick there. Ball ends up high and wide. 6 seconds on the shot clock, and that one's going to get into the pads that time of Hebert, but the Miners able to recover the rebound. Looking up north here again. Yo finds Justin Morgan, who will dish off to Harrow Wires. Head to the bench. Royer will come to replace him on the floor. Royer, his pass back to Harrow Wires didn't quite connect, but settled back down. Longmire pressuring up high. Ball to Robertson. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Robertson, Royer. Miners need a shot, and that's going to be the expiration of the shot clock. Murphy going to pick this one up for the Rebels. Play blown back in. Murphy up along the left-hand side, trying to beat Kennedy up along the boards. Going to dish it off now. He's got Beret. Rebels settle it down. 20 seconds on the shot clock for them to work with. Beret dishes off to the right side of the floor. Fouliard was looking at George, but George on his weak side of the floor now. Dish back to the outside as Beret fires one low and wide. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Fouliard going to get that one into the pads of Hebert. Ball pops out loose. George recovers the rebound, brings it behind the net. Looking for a pass out in front. Nobody opening up as the Miners defense recovers quickly. Fouliard, low shot there, and another stop by Hebert. That one off his right shoulder, and he'll feed it directly up Broadway, and he hits power. Under 14 minutes to go in the second. Power. Harrow Wires. Right half boards across. Royer cutting through the middle. Fake to him as Harrow Wires gets it along the outside again. Challenged by Vetch. He scores. Harrow Wires sends that by the legs of Schmidt, and the Miners back up by 2 once again. First of the contest for him. And the Miners take control back in this game. As we go back to center, Nolski and Push going to do battle for this ball once again. Again, sends that one cross floor. Yo. Feed it ahead to his offense. Justin Morgan now getting some pressure up high. He'll go for the change. Last man off the bench. Going to be the last goal scorer. Harrow Wires gets this ball at the point and lets it go, and it gets blocked in front that time. That one had to have stung Tanner Tass. Nonetheless, still battling through it out there on the floor now. Is this one ahead? Albrecht headed in, 2-on-1 now, dishes it off. Shivers lets it go, and it's stopped by Hebert. Rebound rolling up the floor now. 3 Rebels on top of it. Play blown dead, I believe, for the loose ball push. Nonetheless, the Miners able to pick it up, so instantly resumed as Bowen trying to step through the middle, comes in all alone and scores. Bowen on the board once again for the Miners and make that their largest lead of the game, 8-5. So back to center we go again. Push, highly successful today in the face-off dot. We'll take on Nolsky here once again, who you know is looking for his get back. Another wipe of the floor taking place here. It's quite humid today as well in the JRC, which from my days playing in this rink never boded well for traction on the floor. Ball pops out free, push. Gets on top of it once again for the Miners. And this has been a big difference in this game, has been starting with that possession for Edmonton. This is going to be the over and back violation against them. So ball going to be turned over to the Rebels. But as I was saying, if you're starting with the ball, you're going to get more chances, and odds are it's going to result in more goals. And that's exactly what has happened for Edmonton here today. They have been taking advantage on those fast break opportunities out of the draw. And the Rebels got to look to counter in that area for sure, as Beret has that ball along the outside, trying to find the low lane. Now lets it go, and that one's stopped by Hebert, bouncing in his crease, but quickly recovered by the Miners defense as they'll head up the floor here once again. Royer sprung off the bench, not able to get through the middle in time, so the Miners stuck along the outside as is. Bowen, the last goal scorer, sends this one across now. Found his man in Harrowires, who spins back to the outside, up high now. Bowen back down to the corner. Royer from the outside lets it go, and it ends up just wide of the net. Ball going to end up across half, and that'll be the over and back violation against Edmonton here once again. So down in the right corner, Marcus Fouliard going to step in to pick this one up for the Rebels and resume their offense with 12:05 to go in your middle frame. Fouliard looking to go 6-on-5 as we have a penalty upcoming here to the Miners. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Basisti has the ball faked to him. The pass across from Fouliard picked up now. Beret back up to the point, held along the outside of the Rebels as Beret gets one on net, and that's going to be stopped and settled down by Matt Hebert. And here comes that penalty to the Miners. Seidel headed to the box for them. So the Rebels going to head to their third power play of this contest. They are 1 for 2 thus far, and an opportunity to try to get themselves back within a pair in this contest. Eric George going to start with the ball up at center. George picks it up, dishes off. Basisti down to the corner, Beret. Basisti. Bounce pass up high, George. Point shot, and his bouncer going to get up into the ceiling, so turned over to the Miners, and let's see if they can recreate what they did for about 3/4 of their last penalty kill, holding it down in the Rebels zone. Of course, Fort Saskatchewan did end up converting on the last 5 seconds of that power play. Is another great opportunity, keeping in mind that one kind of for null, as there was the shorthanded conversion on that penalty kill from St. Albert as well. That goal scored by Wyatt Robertson. He's holding it up high, unchallenged right now is Harrowires. Now going to dish it off. Bowen, challenged by Matthew Vetch. He drives the low lane. 12 seconds on the shot clock. The double team here from the Rebels. Pushed out to the corner. Fed back out high. Robertson with some space. Already got one shorty in this contest. Going to dish off. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Harrowires rolls that one on to Schmidt, and he'll settle it down. Rebels headed back up the floor. Shivers sends that one ahead for Fouliard. Rebels power play back out on the floor. 15 seconds on the shot clock as Blake hits Fouliard up to the point. George Fouliard into the middle now, and the shot from Beret doesn't get on net. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Basisti. George from the point. Big one, and he scores. Winds up, lets it go, and converts. Eric George on the power play, and the Rebels back within 2. Nolsky going to line back up at center against Push. Tristan Shaw's least favorite song playing over the speakers right now. But don't be afraid. He is jumping out of his boots after the Rebels' goal. Of course, he is the certified homer here in JRC. Always rooting for the home squad. Not me. Not me. I try to keep it even both sides. Nonetheless, can't count on Tristan Shaw. That's why we don't let him have a microphone, folks. Just wouldn't be good. Matthew Vetch going to bring this one across half as we're now more than halfway through this lacrosse game. 9:40 to go in the second period. Rebels trailing 8-6. Fouliard has this ball up high in the offensive zone. Lets it go, and a nice stop there by Hebert. Settles it down in his stick, and now going to send the stretch pass ahead. That's going to spring John Lintz. Lintz along the right side, dishes off nicely to Bone, who steps inside and scores. A nice little transition play from the Miners, and just like that, they recover their 3-goal lead. So 9-6 now your score here from the JRC as Edmonton continues to lay it on the Rebels, not letting them get back in this contest as soon as they see the breath of hope. Ganton going to pick this one up out of the draw, and again, it's just been that authority in the face-off circle that's made the difference here today. Kennedy finds Playstead down to the corner now. Trying to wind it back up high. It's Bowen who lets it go and make that his 3rd goal of the contest and the hat trick. All coming in the second period. Double digits for the Miners as they lead this one 10-6. So back to center we go here once again. Push and Nolsky. Ball pulled out, Power. Sends that one across half, and Greniuk off the bench is going to receive it. Down to the corner now. Bowen along the outside. Dishes that one across. And that one going to get let go from Greniuk, stopped by Schmidt. As he looks up the floor and going to dish it off a short pass to Murphy along his weak side of the floor. He'll get across half. Murphy sent that pass ahead, trying to find Gingras, who had to settle it down. 12 seconds remaining on the shot clock here for the Rebels. Beret up at the point. Caught a high stick there. No arm goes up in the air as Beret lets it go, and that one going to end up out of play. And it's going to be Rebels ball when we resume. Should be headed into our goalie water. And it looks like that's going to be the case. So at our break point here in the second period, 10-6 is your lead for Edmonton over the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels as they are on the road this evening. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Rival Sportswear, Canada's fast-growing custom apparel brand. Alberta owned and operated. Always custom, always affordable. Elevate your team with Rival Sportswear. As well, a shout-out to the 2026 Fort Saskatchewan Rebels sponsors. That is 5-2 Project Services, Leading Edge Physiotherapy, Cyclone Environmental Service, Lakeview Inns and Suites, Jiffy Lube, Armor Self-Storage, Sinbin Sports, Mel Martins Transfer Limited, Fort Sask Auto Body, First Call Heating, AC Plumbing, and a special thanks to the Rebels presenting sponsor this season, Noyen Construction. If you're a business owner in the Fort Saskatchewan and surrounding area and looking to advertise your business, no better place to do it than here on the board space in the JRC. If you're interested, reach out to Rebels General Manager Dave McGarba. His information is available at the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels website. As Bray has this up at the point as we're back underway. Dishes off quickly. Over to the right side now. Bit of an east-west pass from the Rebels as Blake trying to cycle his way up to the point. Had to turn back low. Scoop pass up to the point. Fouliard lets it go. It ends up wide of the net. Brought back in by Gingras. Tries to go short side there on Hebert. Didn't get all of it that he wanted. And former member of the Edmonton/Saskatchewan Rush, John Lintz, going to feed that one up the floor, and back the other way come the Miners. Bowen dishes that one off, and a quick shot in tight from Power, and Schmidt just a little better that time, able to make the save, and the stretch pass ahead for Matthew Vetch. Trying to move with some pace on the Rebels as Vetch lets it go, and that one stopped by Hebert. Came back off him and out of play, so ball awarded to the Miners as they're looking up the floor once again. Cross half, down to the right corner now, Jake Bowen. Looking for his options from the point. Goes down to the corner. It's Royer who's going to cycle up high himself. Challenged along the outside here by Ryan McBride. Dishes off. Robertson now sends one wide of the net. Rebound going to be recovered by the Miners. 2 seconds on the shot clock over top of the net. And no goal called on that one as the shot clock expired. I believe it did get behind Schmidt on that play, but nonetheless, referee says no, and the Rebels going to be back the other way. Under 7 minutes to go in the second period. Miners continue to lead by 4. As losing his handle on that ball was Carter McAdam. Quickly turned back over to Edmonton as the feed ahead for Power. Just going to be a little bit too far for him as Murphy chasing it back to his own end boards, but the Miners going to come up with it. Yo. Feeds that one to Bowen. 3 goals in this period as he'll send it across. Hit his man in Harrowires. Harrowires back to the other side. Robertson steps in. Schmidt makes a save. Rebound and a second stop from Schmidt. Trying to keep his team in it. The Miners settle it down, and another fresh 30 on the clock for them. We're talking about face-offs creating possessions. How about the loose ball abilities here from the Miners today? They've been on top of a lot of it as Robertson from the outside wires one wide, and it's going to be a race for the ball now as Beret trying to put on the Jets here to get this one, but it's going to be slowed down by the Miners goaltender, Matt Hebert. And Beret going to have it now in the left corner, met by Lintz. Beret feeds that one up high. Hits the stick of Gingras, who will send it across now. Fouliard. Fouliard trying to make a move to the middle. Steps inside, lets it go, and that one stopped by Hebert. Fouliard gets his own rebound, feeds it back out high for Blake. Blake across floor now. Beret lets that one go. I believe missing the net. Nonetheless, picked back up by the Miners. The reset not going to matter as Robertson heads in 2-on-1. Gets a return feed right in the middle now and sends it off the crossbar. Went straight down and out and not in. Broken stick on this play here from Shivers. So now he's out there without his main defensive weapon in hand. Is this one loose along the boards? Play set. Picks this one back up. He finds Royer, who has the lane and lets that one go, and it ends up wide of the net. Push trying to get on top of it, but it's going to be the over and back. No, they're saying off the Rebels. I didn't believe that caught Schmidt, so maybe a member of the defense nonetheless. Reset of the clock as the Miners pick it up in their own end as we approach 5 minutes to go in this second period. Crossing half when Greniuk. Off to the right side, he's got Arrowwires. Arrowwires dishes that cross floor. Royer stuck along the outside, gets the pick, opens up some space. A nice feed to the inside there, and that shot just going to end up wide of the net from Kyle Playstead. Now knocked down on the way up the floor is Albrecht, and there's going to be a penalty upcoming here to Edmonton. 6-on-5 for the Rebels, 20 seconds on the shot clock for them to work with. Basisti up high for George. George across Fouliard. They'll play some pass. 10 seconds on the shot clock now. Rebels need to get some towards the net. George across. That one knocked out of the air, and that'll get the play blown dead. 4:19 to go in the second, and the Rebels going to be headed to yet another 2-minute power play as Playstead going to go take a seat. Make that 5-2 Project Services power play number 4 for the Rebels. They are 2 for 3 in this contest and looking to pull back within 3 on this man advantage. Eric George going to start with this ball up at the point. George. Left-hand shooter spot, Basisti. It's George once again. Fouliard. Back to the point now, behind the net, and that one's going to miss its mark, but settled back down by Blake. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Blake, George, Basisti, Beret. Down at that left crease spot. Beret trying to spin to the inside and dive across, and that one's going to get stopped. Rebound pops out. They score. Fouliard gets the rebound on the dive attempt from Beret, and the Rebels convert on yet another power play. Make that the hat trick goal as well for Marcus Fouliard. As the score is now 10-7 in favor of the Miners, and it's the major penalty charged against Playstead. So this one just going to keep rolling. For the Rebels, probably their biggest opportunity of this contest so far, under 4 minutes to go in the second. Nolski lines up against push for this draw, able to send that one ahead, but the Miners going to pick it up as Morgan now looking to run this one across half in front of the Rebels bench. Dishes off, he's got power. See if the Miners remain as aggressive shorthanded on the major penalty, if they're happy just to sit on it here. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Royer with it in his stick. Challenged along the outside here by Flett. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Royer trying to make a move towards the inside. Now the double team getting thrown by the Rebels as this one gets on to Schmidt. But at the expiration of the shot clock, so it's going to be Fort Saskatchewan ball as Flett moves this one up the floor. Able to hit his man there in Alex Wildeboer. Wildeboer going to leave that there for Fouliard as we approach 3 minutes to go in the frame and 3:45 in the Rebels power play. So this power play will extend through into that third and final frame of this contest as Fouliard back up high. George finds Basisti. Back to the point, George. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Has to let one go, and he does, and it's wide. So it's going to be Miners' ball as this one will bounce its way all the way down to the Rebels' end, and that's where they will start with it. 2:45 on the clock. Robertson. Shorthanded goal in this contest. Picks it up in the left corner and fires it back up high. Jake Bowen sends that cross floor. Has it in his stick now. Back over to Robertson. Bobbled that ball momentarily, but now trying to drive to the inside. Gets in there, and Schmidt able to make the stop. Rebound pops out off the board. It's Matt Murphy who's there to pick it up for the Rebels. Sends that one ahead. Carter McAdam going to rush it ahead, and the stretch pass to Fouliard picked off. Out of the middle. Miners back to ragging the ball here. 2:10 to go in the frame. 2:50 in the Rebels power play when Greniuk has it up high. 15 seconds on the shot clock now for the Miners. Dishes off Robertson, who's continuing to hold it up high here. No pressure from Fort Saskatchewan at all. Outside shot gets on to Smith, and the rebound going to pop out. Bowen on top of it for the Miners, so a reset of the shot clock. They can continue killing off this power play. Robertson back up to the point now. Coming from the right wing half towards its Bowen. Back into the middle. Feeds the other Bowen on the floor, and he scores. Make that goal number 4 in this period for him. And the shorthanded strike for the Miners now increasing their goal total to 11 and their lead over the Rebels back to 4. 1:33 remaining on the clock in this second frame, and the Rebels continue to let this one slip further away. And it's an important final stretch to this season. 14 games in the regular season, and this marks number 10 for Fort Saskatchewan, third in the senior division. Got to place top 4 to make the playoffs. But pushing are the 2 teams below them. So it's going to be an interesting end to this Senior B season. As Nolski getting set at the face-off dot again against Push. As another wipe of the floor is taking place, but it looks like we're about ready to get back underway. It's Nolski. Unable to win that one. Push wins yet another one. Feeds it back out in the middle and just bobbled there on yet another shorthanded opportunity from the Miners. Nonetheless, a rush back the other way for the Rebels. Flett to Fouliard. Sent across. George, an opportunity. Puts it over top of the net. It's going to end up out of play. Turn back over to St. Albert, and another wipe of the floor wanted down in the Rebels' end. So referee saying maybe not quite good enough on that initial attempt. 1:14 left on the clock, 1:55 in the Rebels' power play. As Kyle Playstead continues to sit in the box for the Miners on the major penalty. As the floor maintenance continues, we're just waiting to get back underway. And for you hockey players out there who don't quite understand, when there's no turf down and you got guys falling, that sweat lathers up the cement quite a bit, can make it quite dangerous out on the floor, especially in a game such as lacrosse where pivoting, shuffling, all of it, becomes all that important, and having that power off the drive is where the differences are made. But nonetheless, it looks like this wipe of the floor has come to its conclusion, and we're set to get back underway. As play blown in from the Miners' end, Robertson going to run it across half. Penalty kill continues for Edmonton here as this one sent across, picked out of the air, and gathered in by Tanner Tass as he'll run this one across half. We are in our final minute of the second period as the Rebels trying to get back on the board after surrendering yet another shorthanded goal in this contest. Basisti has this at that left shooter spot. 12 seconds on the shot clock, and that one going to get let go by George. And that was a hidden ball trick executed to perfection as George had it at the point the whole time. Even got me here from the bird's eye view. Nonetheless, the Miners back the other way, and no crease violation called here against Zach Harrowires. So good job by him watching his footing. Rebels able to pick back up and are headed back up the floor. Wildeboer on the fast break, being challenged by Lintz. Wildeboer lets it go, and that one's going to be stopped by Hebert. Rebound pops out. 14 seconds to go on the clock here in the second. Wildeboer sends that across George. Under 10 to go now. George from the point. 5 seconds. Shot let go, and it's wide from Fouliard, and it'll just roll its way down the floor. So that'll do it. 40 minutes are in the books here from the JRC. The Miners leading the Rebels 11-7. Their last goal, the shorthanded marker. So my name's Aiden Bolsgaard. Tristan Shaw is running your camera, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes with your third period on NetFront Sports. Hello and welcome back live on NetFront Sports. My name's Aiden Bolsgaard. Tristan Shaw is on the camera, and you're tuned in for third period action on a Monday night between the Senior B Fort Saskatchewan Rebels and Edmonton Miners. 41 seconds to go in this Rebels power play to kick off the frame. They've surrendered a shorthanded goal on this power play. And it's going to be the Miners who open up with the win off the face-off as Lentz trying to look up the floor and will get this one across half, but misses the stick of Royer. It's a loose ball here down in the Rebel zone, is trying to settle it down as Carter McAdam, who gets knocked down in the process. Still battling for it as both sides, and McAdam going to get back up and send it across half for Beret. 2-on-1 for the Rebels. Beret to George. Has a lane, lets it go, and that one's going to be stopped by Matt Hebert. Rebound recovered by the Miners, and that's going to essentially do it for the Rebels power play as they will fall to 3 for 5 on the day. The Miners go back to work in the offensive zone. Bowen, 4 goals in that second period. Feeds that to the inside, and just losing his footing there was Playstead stepping into the crease. And that's that slippery floor I was talking about coming into play here. Spasisti going to get this ball across half and feeds it instantly back up to the point for George. Less than 19 minutes to go in the third. If you're just tuning in, don't worry. No goals thus far in the third period. As there's another one stopped by Hebert. As the Miners head back up the floor once again. Eric George now challenging as this ball gets sent across. Push down to the corner. Harrowires fakes that pass and now going to put it back up to the point for Playstead. Playstead, the man who served that 5-minute major penalty for the Miners, which saw them +1. So really, maybe he'll have to do it again if he wants his team to get on the board, as Royer tries to let one go, and it's blocked by McAdam. So play going to be blown dead on the shot clock violation, and Matt Murphy going to pick it up for the Rebels and send this one back across half. McAdam on the left-hand side. Beret, 22 seconds on the shot clock. Evades the check that time, and now going to put it back up high. He's got Zayden Blake. Blake, a little stutter step. Back over to Beret. 11 seconds on the shot clock for the Rebels. Beret down to the corner there, and that one going to be unable to connect with Gingras. He'll get the rebound. Trapped behind the net by Seidel. Back up high. Blake from the outside. Wires one off the post. Reset of the shot clock. Fouliard gets the rebound. Sends it to Beret. Eric George back off the bench for the Rebels. Beret. Button hooking out of the left corner, back towards the middle of the floor now. On to his offside, couldn't find an option. Challenged by Dilks. Now fed it back up to the point for Fouliard, who's going to let one go towards the net, and that one's off the chest to Hebert that time. Ball pops out loose here. It's in the 24 of the Miners, and we have a penalty upcoming as Seidel got a hold of it, so I believe this penalty upcoming to Edmonton. Or maybe both sides here. George as well headed to the box along with Ronan Push. So we're going to play some 4-on-4 lacrosse here in this one. Why not? The Miners had possession when the play blown dead, so should start with them down in the corner of their own zone, but we'll see. We're just going to start with the face-off, it looks like, is Nolsky and Ganton. Going to take this one, an opportunity for Nolsky to maybe get some confidence back as Push sits in the penalty box. Unable to take the face-off. Ganton pulls that one out to left, but the Rebels end up coming up with it. Albrecht gets the ball off the boards, trying to drive right down the middle, going to feed it across Basisti as they're going to settle things down. Lots of open floor out there now. Basisti goes up to the point for Fouliard as he comes off the bench. Zayden Blake going to be the last man out there for the Rebels offense. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Behind the back shot stopped by Hebert. So he's going to stretch this ball right up the middle, and that one just over top of the stick of power. As the rebound going to pop out off the end boards, and the Rebels going to be there to pick it back up. Tanner Tass sends that one across half. Fouliard settling things down. 16:40 to go in the third. No goals thus far, which is uncommon in this game. 18 goals combined in this contest. Sent across now. Beret, the low shot, and a great stop by Hebert off his left elbow. Ball bouncing along the boards. Fouliard able to get on top of that loose ball. Another penalty on its way, so the Rebels going to pull their goaltender and go 5-on-4 here. 15 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Basisti, the extra man off the bench. Feeds that one, Gingras. Back up to the point, Basisti. Trying to feed that one down to the corner. Rebound pops out, picked up by Yo. Slashing call upcoming to the Miners. The Rebels going to head on a 4-on-3 power play brought to you by 5-2 Project Services for the next 35 seconds before it'll become a 5-on-4. Jackson Ganton going to go sit down next to the other face-off man for the Miners. That Ronan push. And they'll have at least 35 seconds to sit there and chat as Fouliard going to start with this ball up at the point. Fouliard down to the right corner. Blake pressuring and closer to the Miners' defense as now this ball comes around the 24 to Beret, who's going to step below the goal line for some space, and the pass across going to bounce off that blue paint on top of the boards, kind of sent rainbowing up into the air. Nonetheless, Fouliard able to settle it down. 8 seconds on the shot clock as Fouliard wires one over top of the net, and that one going to head out of play. Miners ball as Harrowider steps off the bench. And the original penalties have now expired, so the Rebels 5-on-4 for the next minute and 20 seconds. As Royer has it down at those left wing half boards. The outside lets that one go, and it ends up just wide. Ball going to roll all the way down, so the over and back violation charged against Edmonton. It's going to be Rebels ball down in the right corner of the offensive zone. Zayden Blake going to pick that one up. 15 minutes on the clock here in the third period. Still nobody has broken through. Basisti has this one along the outside. Going to step that one out and pass to George. George back to Basisti. Fake pass, lost his handle, leaves that for George. His outside shot going to catch a piece of a stick and ends up over top of the net. Gathered back in by Shanklin, who takes a big hit there, trying to run up the floor from Zayden Blake, laying him out, but still gets up with the ball and feeds that one ahead for Power. Now 2-on-1, back the other way for the Miners, and Power whistles one off the post. That was almost shorthanded goal number 3 of the contest for Edmonton. 30 seconds remaining on the Rebels' power play as George gets this ball from Fouliard to get it back underway in the offensive zone. Basisti, left corner Beret. Basisti holding on to it, lets it go, and that one's wide of the net and going to roll down the floor, so it's going to be the over and back against the Rebels, and the ball awarded to the Miners. Schmidt lets that one roll out to the left corner. Playstead off the bench to pick it up. 10 seconds remaining on the Rebels' power play, so the Miners can sit on it until it's 5-on-5. Bowen holding it along the outside, dishes across. He's got Robertson, who's trying to cut his way into the middle. Still has a handle on the ball despite the pressure from Flett, and we're back 5-on-5 and a penalty upcoming here to the Rebels. So these teams going to trade power plays. Harrowires. Royer, his outside shot, and he scores. So take away my previous comments, as that's going to negate the power play for Edmonton. As Royer gets his hat trick goal in this contest to make that a 12-7 lead for the Miners. So 5-on-5 Lacrosse as we resume. 13:40 to go in the third. Push and Nolsky are going to go back at it in the dot. And referee calling for another wipe of the floor over in the Miners zone. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in live here on NetFront Sports. We're coming down the wire of the regular season for the Senior Rebels. Another 4 games on the schedule after this one before they'll, for their sake, be in the playoffs. I'm sure they're hoping this season. And for the Junior Rebels, already have first in the North locked up. And only one more regular season game that goes Friday against the St. Albert accrued, so make sure you tune in as we'll have that one live for you with myself and Tristan Shaw once again. And a little bit of change to the playoff structure in the Junior B Tier 1 division this year, so the Rebels not going to get the bye to the North Final. It will be a 1 versus 4. Most likely looking like it's going to be against the Outlaws in that opening round. In the Senior B division, though, still anyone's ball game with 4 games left to go on the schedule. Miners able to get this ball off the face-off. Morgan going to feed that one out along the left-hand side. Adam Yao holds on to it momentarily, and he'll dish off to Robertson coming off the bench to get the Miners offense working again. 15 seconds on the shot clock. 13-10 on the game clock as Royer going to step in, takes the low lane, gets right out in front of Schmidt, takes a hit from behind, and that's going to be another penalty upcoming to the Rebels. Matt Murphy going to be sent to the box for the hit from behind, and the Miners back to the power play. So it hasn't been a goal-filled third period, only one being scored, and that one coming from Edmonton, but sure have seen our share of penalties to both sides. And you know these teams share some disdain for each other, especially, I'm sure, the Rebels more towards the Miners. Unable to knock them off this season, and they've done battle for the last few seasons going back and forth. Royer to Bowen up high, looking for his lane, lets it go, and that one ends up wide of the net of Schmidt. Poked ahead by Flett. This could be a high IQ play if he's able to pick up the loose ball and just couldn't get it on the run, and the Miners pick it up. And it looks like we're calling for yet another wipe of the floor, and I didn't even see anybody go down that time. I honestly think it is the humidity in the building today that's kind of moistening up the floor a little bit more. I remember it, again, from my minor lacrosse days. Played a lot of lacrosse here in the JRC, and on these summer days like this, when the rain's been falling and all of a sudden it heats up, you get quite slippery in this rink. I know for us, we used to pull out the hairspray, little Tresemme on the bench, and spray up the shoes to try to get some extra grip. I'm not sure how much that ever honestly worked, as if the floor isn't perfectly clean, wouldn't you know, the dust and the hair and whatever sticks right to your shoes, and if anything, makes it more slippy out there. Nonetheless, you just throw some more hairspray on there. Bowen up at the point now, sends that one across. His place dad sent a shot on net, and that one off of Schmidt and out of play, so it's going to be Miners' ball. 1:29 remaining on their power play. Arrow Ayers, Bowen. Royer at the point, behind the back pass down to the corner. Robertson back to play stead. Royer gets the ball from him at the point. Another behind the back pass. Bowen put that one behind the net. My apologies. Play stat is back up high. Royer lets it go, and it ends up wide of the net. Bowen able to pick up the rebound. Another shot stopped by Schmidt. Picked back up and sent the stretch pass, and just getting a little bit ahead of it. That time Hudson Shivers able to grab the rebound of it and sends it wide of Matt Hebert. Now to play Miners' ball, and they're going to try to stretch it the other way themselves. Royer slowing things down up high. Under 12 minutes to go now in the third. 45 seconds in the Miners' power play. Bowen has it now, sends that across. Playstad rips that shot, and Schmidt loses his glove. Trying to pick it back up as this one heads down the floor. Last off of Schmidt, so no over and back violation against the Miners. It's Hebert there to pick it up, and will send that one ahead. Trotted across half by Jake Bowen. To the middle for Royer. Bowen. Royer. Outside shot, and that one's wide as well. Bowen settles down the rebound. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Behind the back pass. Royer couldn't quite settle it down. Nolski comes out to pressure it on the outside, and this loose ball can end up in the stick of goaltender Kyle Schmidt, who's going to look all the way down the floor and sends a stretch pass ahead for Murphy, and it bounces right in front of him and over top of his head, so it ends up goaltender to goaltender. As Hebert picks it up and will break this back out for the Miners. Dilks gets across half. Dishes that one off. Push. Little toss to Royer. He's going to challenge the Rebels defense now. Push back to his feet. He slipped on the floor. It's an outside shot, and they score. Zach Harrowires, his second goal of the contest, and we're looking for yet another wipe of the floor out there. 10.5 to go in the third, and maybe we're going to have to play this like a FIFA matchup. Why not add more time to it just based on how many times we had to wipe the floor in this contest? Whether it be sweat or condensation, we don't know. Tristan doesn't know. He told me specifically before this contest he's not a scientist, so don't go asking him any crazy questions like that. All he knows is that he wants the Rebels to win, no matter the junior Rebels or the senior Rebels. That's all that goes through his mind as soon as he steps in this building, and does not try to hide it. But that's okay. Again, that's why we don't give him a microphone. Well, that and a multitude of other reasons. Nonetheless, the Miners dominant in this contest thus far. And if you had to pick out a couple main points, I've mentioned it earlier in this contest, but the face-offs have been absolutely huge. Ronan Push might even be my vote for the player of the game for the Miners, creating so many opportunities by getting them that possession right off the face-off. Fast break opportunities and just all out getting their offense out on the floor more often. And it's been the loose ball pickups for them as well. Have been able to extend a lot of possessions that way as well. And it's resulted in this 13-7 lead that they hold on to right now over Fort Saskatchewan. 6 goals, the biggest spread in this contest we've had thus far. We're just about halfway through the third as Nolsky and Push going to go at it once again, and another clean win for Push. And that, folks, is exactly what I've been talking about all game long. So he'll feed that one up high, and the Miners offense right back to work. Playstead off the bench. Feeds that one back up high. Royer quickly off to Robertson at that left shooter spot. He'll go cross floor. Outside shot that time from Harrowires. Not going to connect with the net. Rebound recovered by Edmonton. There shouldn't have been a reset of the shot clock. I think the referee on top of it. Nonetheless, turned over to the Rebels, so the referees get it right as Fleck going to pick this one up in his own end and head back up the floor for Fort Saskatchewan. Nice dish off there as he catches a hit a bit up high. Tried to get it off to Fouliard, who lost his handle, and now a loose ball push charged against the Miners, so it will be awarded back to the Rebels in the offensive zone. Ganton leaves it there for Flett, who's going to send it across now. Beret, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Beret up high. Knocked down to the ground harshly. There is Gingras. And the ball going to find its way down the floor, over and back charge against Fort Saskatchewan. 9.5 to go in the third. Schmidt just lets that one roll to the left corner. So your next stoppage in play should be our third period TV timeout / goalie water opportunity. Ball back up high. Royer sends that one across. Bowen into the middle now, and that's a goal yet again from Zach Harrowires, his hat trick goal in this contest. Make that a 14-7 lead for the Miners, doubling up on the Rebels. Nolsky going to line back up at the face-off draw. Not quite going to go to our break yet, it seems. Push, going to cleanly win that draw once again. Dishes that one off. Harrowires sends it down to the right corner now. Bowen, not the one that scored 4 goals. He'll send it across. Play stat. Back up to the point. Here's the one that has 4. Bowen across. Harrowires lets it go from the point, and that one going to be wide of Schmidt. Flett now going to run this one across half. 3-on-2 the other way for the Rebels as Flett steps in, dishes it off, and takes a big hit in the process. And he looks a little shaken up as he gets to his feet. And it looks like a power play upcoming here for Fort Saskatchewan as Zach Harrowires, after getting his hat trick goal, going to be headed to the box. 2 minutes. .8:48 to go in the third. Rebels back to a 5-2 Project Services power play. Maybe an opportunity just to get some confidence back in this contest. They would need just under a goal a minute to get back even in this one. Miners have done a good job of putting it out of reach. Another wipe of the floor taking place here following that hit. Tristan Shaw being absolutely antagonized by these wet spots on the floor. Starting with this ball up high is going to be Eric George. George to Basisti. Back up high, he dishes across, Fouliard. Down low now, Blake. Trying to go back to Fouliard, and that pass going to be missed, so the turnover right at the start of the power play to the Miners. Schmidt's going to let that one go to the corner. 8:35 to go in the third. We still haven't had our TV timeout. Might have forgot about it at this point, or they're just chalking it up to one of the miscellaneous cleanups. It's outside with it now. Robertson challenging. Fakes the shot from the outside, sends that one across to Push. 18 seconds on the shot clock for the Miners. 1:33 remaining on this penalty kill for them. As Royer now down at those left wing half boards. Flett watching him. His shot going to get wired off the post and down the floor. It's going to be a race for it now as Will DeBoer going to run after the goaltender and not going to get there in time to engage contact. That's the thing, is everybody always finds that's a huge deal in the game of lacrosse, how you can make contact with the goaltender when they come out of the crease. And yes, it does result in some clean plays that look great in the highlight reel sometimes, but running down the floor like that and nailing a goaltender is as blatant of a charging penalty as it comes. So for those of you thinking, why not? That is why. Right there from Will DeBoer as George going to settle this back down in the offensive zone as the Rebels trying to get something by Matt Hebert on this power play. 10 seconds on the shot clock. George to Fouliard. Fouliard trying to get Blake on the inside, and Duff does a good job of knocking that one out of the air. Ball still loose. Through the crease are the Rebels, is what the referee says. So ball awarded back to the Miners. Morgan finds Duff along the right-hand side now. Push back in the offensive zone. Shot clock and penalty clock only about 2 seconds apart in favor of the penalty. So the Miners would have to get the reset to be back 5-on-5 in this possession. Morgan just going to throw that one down the floor. Albrecht will pick it up behind his own net. The Rebels looking back up, but that's going to do it for the power play. Stepping out of the box is Zach Harrowires. So Rebels get across half. George sends that one down to the corner with some pace here. Beret sends that across the floor now. Fouliard gets the pass from him and finds Basisti as the last man coming off the bench. 11 seconds on the shot clock for the Rebels. Fouliard, a low shot, and that one misses wide of the net. Slowed down there. But it's going to be Kennedy down in the Rebels zone to pick this one up. Kennedy back into the middle. Royer trying to find the lane and got pushed to the outside by Longmire. Now going to cut back in, and Schmidt makes a great save on the crease dive attempt there from Royer. Rebound recovered by Hudson Shivers. Fed up the floor. Matt Murphy going to settle it down, and he'll step across half. Approaching 6 minutes to go in this third period. Back up high, George. Fakes that one off now. To the left side. Gingras, his shot on net going to go over top and wide. Fed back ahead, and the Miners stretching the floor once again. Yao feeds that one in the middle. Ganton coming in, gets it in front. Harrowires scores. Make that goal number 4 for him in this contest. And it looks like a wipe of the floor being requested here once again by the referees. 5:38 on the clock. 15-7 is the lead in favor of the Edmonton Miners. This one right in the crease of Kyle Schmidt. So that all important. And we'll return back to the face-off dot as Push and Nolski going to go at it once again. Push comes up with it. Back across half are the Miners, ready to go back to work. It's Jacob Power. He has won in this contest. He'll give it off to Robertson, who has won himself. A shorthanded goal, to be precise. Bowen. Robertson from the outside lets it go. That one stopped by Schmidt. Rebound pops out. Bowen gets on top of it, but the loose ball push charged against the Miners, so it's going to be Rebels ball. Wildeboer picks that one up, sends a stretch pass ahead. Able to get that one into the stick of Shivers. Shivers back up to the point now. Greg Beret. 5 minutes to go in the third. Beret down to the left corner. George looking for an option from the outside. He lets that one go. Stopped swiftly by Hebert. Back up along the left-hand side. Running it in is Ronan Push. Challenged by Zayden Blake. He'll take the hit after rolling it up to the point for Royer. Royer finds Robertson as the offense settles back in for the Miners. 11 seconds on this shot clock for them to work with. Rainbow pass sent into the middle there. Rebound does get collected by Playstat and stopped on the shot by Schmidt. Rebound gathered by him as well. Now the stretch pass ahead for Murphy. Forced to pull back as the Miners defense responds promptly. They'll send it up high to Zayden Blake. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the third. Blake, cross floor, he's got Basisti. Back up to the point now, Murphy. Sent it across, trying to hit George, and that pass over top of his head. So, stretch pass here is going to send Ganton in past George. A scoop pass back up to the point, not going to connect with Morgan. Coming in to collect that one is Carter McAdam, who will send Fouliard back across half for the Rebels. Fed back to the point, George. Left corner, over top of that at Gingras. Miners pick back up, and Power sends that one ahead up along the left-hand side. Nolski chasing down his man and bites it a little bit there. Back to his feet and looks to be okay. It's good to see for Nolski. 14 seconds on the shot clock here for the Miners. As back into the middle, a quick shot onto Schmidt. That one stopped. And now the late hit there by Push, and things going to let loose a little bit here. Behind the Rebels net is Push. Going to be directed towards the penalty box. We'll see if anything comes in return for the Rebels. I don't think it will. So with a 15-7 lead, the Miners gonna head to the box. The Rebels will see Nolski head to the penalty box as well. So we'll see how things get decided, because there was an extra assessed to Push, but that would just be for the unsportsmanlike. And him and Nolski are talking things over in the penalty box. Looks like it's going to be Rebels ball as we resume. George going to start with it at the point. And it looks like it is going to be the Rebels power play as the extra man now in there. Adam Yo sitting for the Miners. So indeed, the 2-minute power play brought to you by 5-2 Project Services for the Rebels. Good time to let you know that the player of the game is presented by Sports Central. Sports Central recycles and redistributes sports equipment to kids 4 to 17 and families facing financial hardship. Follow NetFront Sports on Instagram for the Sports Central player of the game following tonight's broadcast. We're about ready to get back underway. As well, letting you know tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Rival Sportswear, Canada's fast-growing custom apparel brand, Alberta-owned and operated. Always custom, always affordable. Elevate your team with Rival Sportswear. Eric George has this ball plane blown back in. 3:06 to go in the third period as the Rebels back on the man advantage. Up high, George from the point, going to let that one go. It's blocked. Last off, the Miners, as Fouliard going to recover this in his own end. Fouliard runs this back in himself and will let that shot go. It ends up wide. Basisti picks it up, has to get something on net and won't. Shot clock expires, and another penalty upcoming here to the Miners. Seidel headed to the box. So a 5-on-3 power play brought to you by 5-2 Project Services about to get underway for Fort Saskatchewan. The Miners going to take a timeout here to give their penalty killers a rest and possibly talk things over. If you are a local business owner in Fort Saskatchewan or surrounding area and looking to advertise your business, no better place to do it than here in the JRC. There are board spaces available for you to advertise your company for the foreseeable future. If you're interested in supporting Fort Saskatchewan Lacrosse and your company in that way, you can contact Rebels General Manager Dave McGarva. His information is available at the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels website. I would love to know what Tristan Shaw's valuation of this contest is. Any key points you've seen out there, Tristan? Tristan calls this one a snooze fest. That's what he's calling it. And I would disagree with Tristan in that sense. There's been some high-grade lacrosse being played in this contest. Yes, mostly on the Miners side, but it's just been a domination of those small things that make all the difference. And for the kids out there who are watching, you're in your minor lacrosse, face-offs, loose balls, absolutely massive in the game of lacrosse. No different than basketball in that sense for those who are new to the sport. If you're able to win that tip-off, if you're able to recover those balls that pop free, it's going to result in good things for your squad, and the Miners putting that on absolute display here tonight. Something I think they'll be very proud of. Is the play going to be blown dead, and it looks like a tripping call upcoming now to Fort Saskatchewan. And indeed, that's going to be the case. I think Eric George, the one going to be headed to the box for the Rebels, and the whistles just don't stop whistling. For the folks at home, just so you know, I clock out at 10 p.m. That's when my shift ends. So it might be a quiet end of the third period. Just kidding. That's a joke, of course. We'll have you here till the end. But holy, this has been a whistle-filled game between wiping the floor, penalties, and the 22 goals we've seen in this contest as well. But nobody's complaining here. That just means more lacrosse. Is this shot going to get whistled wide by Harrow Ayers? And we're under 2 minutes to go in this game officially. Is Hebert going to settle this one down and let it roll to the right corner? Fouliard ready to pick this one up for Fort Saskatchewan, and he will. Feeds it up high, Zayden Blake. Still a 4-on-3 power play for the Rebels after that tripping call assessed to Eric George. With it now, Gingras back up high. The outside shot from Blake. That one going to be stopped by Hebert. Basisti laid the pick check, and now it's going to be a run the other way. Aaron Duff in alone and wires that one off the ground and out of play. Duff on the breakaway, and that got the fans going. They love to see the big man on the run. No different than when a member of the O-line starts going for the pick six. I love it, though. Duff, another player who's played an outstanding contest for the Miners, has had his stick in the lane all night long, and a reason why the Rebels haven't been able to break through more than they have, but they will this time as Fouliard puts away his fourth goal of the season. Or not the season, geez. The game, fourth goal of the game. There's been many multiple goal games for Fouliard this season. I believe a 5-goal game not too long ago. So definitely more than 4 goals this season for Marcus Fouliard. 1:14 to go in the third. The Rebels back within 6. Or 7, my apologies. I thought they were up to 9. But that is my mistake. Is Fleck going to pick up this ball? 1:05 to go in the third. Is trying to settle this one down is Shivers, but all over him right now is power and Adam Yo and still able to come away with it. So a great job by Shivers as he'll feed that one up high for Fouliard. Under a minute to go in the third. This is your final minute of this contest. So there's the alert for you. Ball pops down to the corner, picked up by the Miners. They'll feed that one ahead. Morgan gets it and sends it off to the other side for power. He'll just slow up as he crosses half. I think the Miners just happy to sit on this one as their first penalty expires. So now we're playing some 4-on-4 lacrosse. 5-on-4, my apologies. As Royer circles back out, 7 seconds on the shot clock and whistles one wide of the net. Rebound recovered by Harrowires. He'll send it down, and that one caught. Play blown dead. And the referee's going to call the game. And his choice words were, the floor is bleep, also known as garbage or dung. I couldn't agree with him more. Lots of players slipping out there today. Absolutely dangerous. I think everyone did their best they possibly could to keep it under proper playing conditions. And the Miners definitely able to find success as they take this contest 15-8 on the road over the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels and improve to 3-0 against Fort Sask and 9-1-0-0 on the season. The Rebels will fall to 4-6-0-0 on their record. My name's Aiden Bolsgaard. Tristan Shaw kindly ran your score bug and your camera for you tonight. We're going to send you off with the looks of the handshake line. Make sure to tune in Friday night as the Junior Rebels take on the St. Albert Crude here at the JRC, joined by me and Tristan once again. This has been it on Monday night for NetFront Sports.